it's a little dead meme. Fuck you, little bitch. You think you can fuck with me? What am I ring? Fuck you, little bitch. Hey, look, I'm hoping some bread out the weed. Fuck you, little bitch. You think you can fuck with me? What am I ring?
Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's another episode. Your stat's a disgusting sip if I've ever seen one. Welcome to the Snark Tank podcast. Another episode, another week down. This time, it is Sweeny who is gone. We told the audience we were lost in the Paris catacombs. Except we didn't know anything about the Paris catacombs, so it came across like we were immediately lying. But Sweeney's gone. He's in some weird beach that doesn't sound real. We're not going to dox him, but I'm highly suspicious of the validity of this place. But you know, he's on a vacation with his girlfriend. He's having a good time.
Yeah, I don't believe him. I think the whatever beach he said, it sounds like a drink. I don't think it's real.
Yeah.
It sounds like an alcoholic drink. I was like, dude, this is you're just saying shit.
I don't
don't want to be. You just.
I don't believe him for a second, dude.
Ask his girlfriend. She's probably like, oh, he said he was going on a trip to his family, and no one knows what he's actually doing. You know,
he's probably like in Japan getting a sword made or something. That sounds like something he would be doing.
You know what he's doing? He's getting plastic surgery to actually look like Akuma. Like he's fucking gonna like I guarantee you he's gonna come back with red hair and shit.
Akuma? Fucking holy shit.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the fucking green boy, right? With the orange hair?
No.
Am I wrong? Wait, what? Who am I thinking of?
Akuma, I don't know who you're thinking
of. I swear to God. Wasn't there like a fucking... I'm never gonna fucking figure this out.
A green boy with orange hair?
Green man's orange hair Street Fighter?
Blanca! Oh, you're talking...
Oh!
I love Blanca.
Fuck yeah, no, never mind. This is a way different person. But
oh my.
Anyway,
I would much rather him have plastic surgery to look like Blanca.
That's what I thought, because it's just like that would be way cooler. But anyway, guys, it's another 2-man. So don't expect 2 hours and some odd change. We're gonna treat this a little bit light because next week, I believe it's next week. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll edit this, but I don't think I am. Next week, we're gonna have Lyle on, Lyle Rath. We're going to be talking about some video game stuff, some of the stuff he's working on, some of the stuff that we probably a lot of music talk. And there is, by the way, a question thread specifically for Lyle that's been up for quite a while on the Patreon at patreon.com/snarktank. So if you want to get a question in there, that'll probably be a long one, I think. So pop in over there, ask some good shit, and it might be asked. Who knows? Lyle's a good boy. Let's go. I want to see a Lyle Rath DaBaby cover. You know, I think he could do it really well.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
So we've got a couple of things to talk about. I don't know what you want to start off with, because there's some stuff here. There's some stuff here that's kind of old. Maybe we should start with the older things first. The shit that you brought up you reminded me of today, like I think maybe 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, that we never talked about on the podcast inexplicably.
That's what shocks me. Like, how has this not been brought up, especially when this gentleman, or I don't even know if I can call him a gentleman, but we've talked about him so much. And it just kind of slipped our minds, I guess. Yeah, weird.
Well, I think the moment that we're talking about Paul Joseph Watson, by the way, who, when I tweeted like a thing about a video of like a panic attack that I had while filming, because I thought it was like super weird and interesting just to see like that happening from like a third person perspective. It was like really weird to me. And I was like, this is kind of interesting. And he kind of dunked on it. And this happened a while ago, but I don't know why it didn't. I think that week and the next one were like super packed with shit, and then like we mentioned it at the end, and we were like, shit, we forgot about it. But we were like already reading the credits, so we forgot about it, and then the week went by, and that more shit happened, and then it was just a Sweeny and me episode, and now it's just you and me. So we can talk about this, I guess. I don't know what to say about it because it was so weird that he hasn't interacted with me, and so he DM'd me, by the way.
He did.
He did. I actually never talked to him. Hold on, let me go back and find this. What was his name? Prison Planet?
Yes, it is.
I have to it's such a weird to find, but hold on. Let me go back. I'm trying to find it, but if you want to talk while I find this fucking thing, I'm trying to remember exactly.
Sure, I'll talk.
I want to remember exactly.
I'll let people know that I am in one of the whitest countries in Europe. I'm in Lithuania. I am mating with a very white woman. It's pretty great. And apologies if my microphone doesn't sound up to par. It's not the best microphone I have. But the cool thing about this microphone that it does have built-in echo. So if you want to be really dramatic, you can just turn it on.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
And it just goes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, fuck it, I want this. So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty fucking. I think Lyle had a thing like that too. He had an interface. I couldn't even begin to pretend to understand what the hell he was saying to me though. When he was explaining it, so I was like, neat. My brain was just completely shut off. But I want to get one of those things. That looks like fun as hell for streams, especially.
Exactly. Exactly.
That seems like such a fun fucking thing. Okay, here I go. Here I found the DM. Having a panic attack over forgetting a line isn't a real panic attack. Stop chasing clout. Very disappointing behavior. Behavior with a U because he's British, of course. And that was it.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't really paying attention to my DMs. I noticed this 2 days after, so I feel like I could respond now, but it would be weird if I did. But
you know what you should respond with? There's a picture floating around, partially because of me, that it shows Thanos with an extremely detailed penis, and it also has Tony Stark tied up, hanging, and then he's erected for whatever reason.
Oh my god!
Just send that to him.
Maybe just out of the blue, a whole month later, just no context. I should be sorry, I didn't see this, and then just post that. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was there were some people who were having fun with it. I didn't expect that video to blow up the way it did. That was I posted it specifically at 1 or 2:30 in the morning LA time when most human beings I feel are asleep, you know? Specifically because I don't know, this is interesting, but I don't want to it's not prime time content. I just find it kind of fascinating. And then it blew up fucking 400,000 fucking views. Of course, it's that one. It wasn't even the Resident Evil video that I fucking when I was sauntering up to the door and I turn around and the big vampire bit.
Yeah.
That one exploded too,
no.
But not nearly as much as this one. I'm fuck, of course. But you know, what I want to say, just in some vein of just to get an actual point across, having because he also tweeted, he replied something last time I saw a panic attack in person, it was because someone died in front of somebody else or something crazy dramatic like that. And it's if you're panicking because someone's brain exploded in front of you, that's not a panic attack. That's a fairly reasonable reaction to a fucking happenstance. That's the whole point of a panic attack is or at least the way that I see it is that it shouldn't happen because it doesn't make sense. That's the whole.
Yeah.
That's why
it feels like the world's ending, but it's not.
Yeah, it's the simplest shit. And it's not it's just one thing. That was just a bad day in general for me. So it was just it was a straw camel's back type deal where it's fuck, you got to be joking. I can't even do this line today. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing to share. And you know, the typical people dunked on it, which didn't really bother me. I kind of expected that. How can you not at that point? If you see somebody freaking out on camera, I do that all the time. If I see somebody freaking out on camera, it's that's funny. But I I don't really
guess,
care that much.
I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't even like, it wasn't any. If I were like, say, if I was some conservative chud, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, how could I like? It's not enough substance to really. It's not like, say, for example, it doesn't matter where you line, but one of my favorite videos is Hassan Piker destroying his controller when he was playing like Bloodborne or Dark Souls or some shit. It's fucking great. Like, it's such a great moment, and like that's the type of shit that you meme on, because this guy loses his shit. And I'm like, hey, guy,
dude,
it's.
Look, man, when I was playing Crash Team Racing and I was trying to get the platinum in like a week, otherwise I would owe some random dude in fucking Dubai a PlayStation 5 out of my own pocket. That was like, I had a controller that I definitely destroyed, and I was on stream too. I was fucking furious. I wasn't even happy when I got it. I was just like, I think I got the platinum and I was like, fuck you. And I was so angry. So I understand those, but like, dude, some of those. But I remember watching the video that I posted, and I remember thinking like, I don't think this is funny, but maybe that's just because I'm like, it's me, so I'm like biased. So I wasn't sure, like, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's funny. But there's that one Hassan Piker thing too, where he's like, he's talking about he's going over some Shapiro video or something, and people are like spamming his chat about like the PlayStation event. Have you seen that clip?
No.
I have to send it to you because somebody like auto-tuned it, and it's like, I can't even focus right now because everybody's memeing about the PlayStation event. Fucking leave! And it's like it's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. I don't know much about Hassan Piker. I know like he's had some meme moments or whatever. I don't know anything about his like actual content, but that video is fucking one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. Mainly because of the auto-tune, in fairness. The editing does a lot of the heavy lifting, but
yeah, right.
But still,
and I don't know. See, I feel like that's something that Paul Joseph Watson. Why don't you go after shit? Like, it just seems such like a nothing thing. The only thing I can really think of is that maybe he is aware that we've like shat on him on the podcast a few times, because all these fucking these fans and stuff, whatever, they tattletale. You ever see the ats? They tag people. All this shit. I'm like, just let shit be, man. Like, if they find it, they find it. I always like, I like stumbling upon things. Yeah. And so he probably took this opportunity to try to get back at you because, yeah, we've made fun of him quite a bit, and I would like to make fun of him more because the shit that he's done, like, there was two big examples under his shit talking or whatever, his quote tweeting, whatever the fuck he did. One of them was when he freaked out on Lauren Southern on WhatsApp. Yeah, that long thread of him just, I've never done anything even close to that. Like, I've been angry, but I don't even remember what it was over. It was over something that had to do with like, oh, she's like no longer like whatever she would classify herself as or some shit.
Something like that.
Like, freaked out or something. And then one of the interesting one was he went to a restaurant and he was just complaining about how like expensive the menu was and how like there's just how the fancier shit gets, you get barely any portions of it and it just costs a lot. And he's just sitting at a restaurant taking pictures of stuff that he's ordering and bitching about it and complaining. And I'm like, I've never seen a grown man do that. Usually it's like, oh, this place is not for me, and then you leave.
I don't remember that. Wait, that sounds like familiar, like in an ethereal way. Like, I remember this event, but I don't remember anything about it. What the fuck?
It's just,
hold on.
He's like talking about like, this is not the type of meal like a working class man would want at the end of the day or some shit, and somebody like replied to it like in quotations, working class man, just showing him sitting at his fucking desk, like not doing, like oh yeah, you're one of the working class men, dude. Like, get the fuck, you're rich. This motherfucker's rich, and he's fucking like, he looks like one of the most pompous pieces of shit ever, right? Just look at him. You know how people kind of mold into their character.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
Kind of like they settle into who they are, and he just looks like one of those fucking guys that would Literally, probably. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing anything
Yeah,
about it?
I'll put it on screen but I'll also read it for the audio listeners, obviously. But like staying in Austin, where many restaurants serve pretentious hipster pigeon food, he misspelled pigeon, which wouldn't even satisfy an incel, makes me appreciate the Trump Hotel in D.C. (parentheses best hotel in the world) even more. How is this supposed to fill up a man who has been working all day? Absurd. Why are you there then, dude? Like, the thing is, it's like you choose where you go. You know,
Sure,
typically
exactly.
It's not like, oh, it's Wednesday, I gotta go to Geraldine's, fishery. It's like you can go wherever the fuck you want. Why would you go to a place that you think he went here like specifically with the intention of just like bitching on Twitter? I feel like he must have.
Yes, he had to, which is weird, which is a weird thing to even calculate and think that people are gonna give a shit about. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very out of touch. It's kind of ironic because he's talking about like this is supposed to feed a working man, but it's like a working man likely wouldn't come here in the first place.
Would never go there.
If they did, probably wouldn't have this many complaints and broadcast it to a fucking Twitter audience. I feel like most people would just be like, this kind of sucks, huh? And they would leave. Or they would just like... It's a whole fucking thread. Holy shit.
Exactly. That's the whole thing where it's like a... It's almost like... that's why people are like, dude, how are you making fun of Chris for this panic attack and you freak out on the dumbest shit?
Yeah.
Like, you're freaking out on hipster food.
I wonder...
Like,
I wonder how... do you think he is... Because there are some people, right, that, like, are very clearly phoning it in, who are just like, and maybe they do it for a long enough time that they, like, start to believe the shit that they say. I think that's, like, I think it's probably true for a lot of people. But do you think he is, like, really this person? Or do you think that this is, like, a caricature? Or do you think it's, like, a mix where it's, like, hey, it's a caricature that I've kind of, like, assimilated into? Because I really don't know what to make of him.
That's a good point. I think a lot of times I forget about that, or I think that it mostly is like a front and a show. He's a good performer. He's a thespian, and I forget about that. There's also people behind the scenes that know him personally, people that live in the UK that know that his whole modernity shtick, the whole like how he acts, and he acts pretty much like he's like, Islam is based, and it's like it's not real. It's not real at all, because he's like just fucking everyone and shit and like partying. And I'm like, wow, But hey, it obviously it gets the bucks. It gets the bucks. I mean, look at Dave Rubin. That's all I have to say. That guy's
man.
I think he's doing pretty well for himself, and he doesn't believe anything he's fucking saying.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely like a complicated mix, I think. But that was pretty much all I saw some people in the back. But there's I think there's I don't know. This was a while ago, so this is old stuff. I totally forgot about it, to be honest, until you mentioned it. So I figured we'd mention it. It's on the podcast. We talked about it. There you go. Now maybe Paul Joseph Watson, should we put him on? We should invite him on the show, and then we could get Sam Seder to join us as well.
That would be fucking great.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about that? Did you do like a video on it?
I did do a video, and I admit this, because of the audience that have followed me, because of some of the crossover there was back in the day with if you didn't outright just shit on conservatives, they think that you're like you're one of them or something, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So a lot of them started following me for various reasons, and even though at this point I kind of, the vast majority, like, first I was just very cordial, right? I'm like, hey, differing opinions, this and this and that, but now I'm at the point where largely the conservative side of things, they're the reason why the pandemic's still a thing, because they won't fucking just be, they won't do. I'm at the point where I'm just completely annoyed.
There's a lot of cringe, like irritating, like 2016 SJW style videos of like conservatives on the street or like walking into like Costco's and like flipping a shit because like they just can't put a mask on and inconvenience themselves for like a half second. It is very weird. I don't know.
And
I don't know. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say those people. I made a video, and those people made their way onto the video, and they sent me a lot of stuff saying you need to watch this, and all it is you either need to watch Crowder or Tim Pool.
Yeah,
like, that's that, and I was like, first of all, I thought after Tim Pool made the egregious prediction that Trump was going to win by a landslide of like 49 states, that maybe he wouldn't be so trustworthy anymore. People would be like, I think I need to think about what I'm watching now because that shit didn't make any sense. And then, so then I was like, okay, whatever. Anyway, all I did was just break it down in a way, trying to just say, hey, just think of it as you don't even know who these people are. Just think of it like, say, here's a guy who's a seasoned debater who's debating just a fucking novice, a child to politics, essentially.
Yeah.
Brings in someone who's a seasoned debater, and then the other seasoned debater just fucks off. Even though he talks about it being an arena, has a shirt called Fight Like Hell or whatever, he just flees. And I say, it just looks bad. In so many different ways, and people are like, no, bro, Ethan should have been a man of his word. I'm like, okay.
It doesn't matter. People treat debates as if it's about the people, and it's like the worst thing. Like, you don't give a shit. Like, the whole point of a debate is literally to talk about the issues. That's like that's what it used to be, or that's what it's supposed to be in theory. But I think now it's more about, I want to see two personalities clash. So like when the internet people see like a debate, what they're thinking is, oh, I want to see two people, very specific personalities. I want to see them clash, because that was what was so amusing about like the Trump debates, and because there was never really any issues really discussed in any of the Trump debates. Trump won purely by personality and by being like an asshole, and it was awesome to watch. It was super entertaining. But that's not what a debate is. That's a show. That's entertainment, and it's that's valid in its own form. But like here's the thing: anybody who was going into the Crowder debate genuinely excited for it, there's no way they were actually looking forward to a debate. What they wanted was, an argument, or like some kind of like, hey, here's this dude who does politics for a living, and here's this dude who literally just talks about YouTube drama on a podcast all the time. Why the fuck would they even be debating? Like, what? It makes no fucking sense. It's like if Neil deGrasse Tyson was debating like fucking Jeff Foxworthy or something. It's like, what the fuck is, like, why would you even have that conversation? It's such a dumb thing. Like, it's so fucking stupid. And like, the idea that he was so confident to debate Ethan, but like scared shitless to debate Sam Seder, it's just like, dude, here's the thing. If I was the person, and this, I admit, I'm not this type of person. I'm not like a debate me bro kind of person. I find it like annoying, and also it's just not my skill set. I can't debate. Like, even shit that I believe, I think, like, I couldn't really like debate well, because that's its own skill set. Like, you have to know how to use rhetoric. There's like all sorts of things that you have to have like on the mind already, just so you can pull up, study this, study that, reference this, reference that. And it's like, I can't, my mind is so messy already that it's like, there's no way that I could have like a proper formal debate with a person. I know my limits. I know my strengths. So I don't dip my toes into that pool at all. So like, I just don't stand why you wouldn't just, as a debater who is confident, who challenges all these people, who's like, hey, change my mind, random college student number 6. Like, why wouldn't you, from an optics game, just do that debate? Because I think if Crowder just did the debate, Ethan would have looked like an asshole, like, to everybody, because he would have just looked like, oh, he didn't even flee. We just got a genuine debate. And like, Ethan thought he was pulling one over on him, That's how I thought things would have went if he just took it. And he was just like, all right, well, this isn't what I planned for, but get this over with. I'm sick of hearing this guy's name, so let's just talk about it once, and then we can wash our hands of this forever. Now, more people than ever know about Sam Seder. More people than ever are going to be harassing Steven Crowder about getting this debate done. And he just totally fucked himself over. And he just constantly was like throwing insults and shit. Like, what was it? Like, he said something like, he accused Sam Seder of not being a comedian. And Sam Seder was like, yeah, I'm not a stand-up comedian. And he goes, yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense because your show isn't entertaining. And it's like, he does news.
Yeah.
Like, of course. Like, it's so fucking weird.
It's not the Daily Show or some shit. I don't know what the fuck, like, he's trying to say.
Yeah.
It's really, there's so many different things that I wish, I had a little bit of a back and forth with a couple of people on my Discord that happened to disagree with my video. And I was just trying to lay things out for them to just show the pattern of, like, try to use Occam's razor of there's no way that Crowder can't be avoiding Sam Seder. Because the first thing that he even said was, oh, I don't want to debate you because you're a clout chaser. You only have a fraction of my audience. And that already it was just false about, oh, this is why I won't debate you. Because
also,
he debated Jeff Holiday.
Wouldn't that also make him the clout chaser if he was like concerned only with debating people who have a big audience so that he could extract some value from it? It's like everything about it was fucking backwards to me.
Everything. And which shows you, and which is funny because he also says, he claimed that he knew this was going to happen, but then had absolutely no prep. He had nothing. He had no rebuttal. The camera wasn't even on him for a while. It was on that little co-host he had for a while. Like, he was trying to figure out what the fuck he was going to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you knew this was going to happen, if you knew there was going to be a possibility of this happening, wouldn't you have a plan? Like, this is what we're going to do if Sam Seder shows up. Pretty simple. He even mentioned Sam Seder before they went on air, because I checked out his video because people were like, you need to check out his video, bro. There was people saying, oh, smoking gun proof, that they showed receipts of the DMs between Ethan and Crowder. Just saying, it's just going to be you and us. It's just going to be me and you. And people are like, that's smoking gun proof. Ethan's an asshole. I'm like, that was never in question. Everybody knew that they were supposed to debate, and then he pulled the switcheroo. So I didn't even understand what showing the receipts were for. I think everyone understood that it was supposed to be them two. So I didn't understand, like, say, imagine you and I agree to do something, right? And then I don't do it. And then you show receipts that, hey, he agreed. And people are like, well, we already knew he agreed. Why are you showing me this shit?
Yeah, that's why they're there in the first place.
It's just like, we had like a public, there was a public discussion that they were supposed to debate. It wasn't like, say, I didn't even understand what people were trying to do. And it was getting so muddy. It was
just like trying to be like, oh, well, he went back on his word. And it's like,
well, it's like, no shit.
Yeah.
That was the point.
Do you understand? Like, I feel like people don't know what Ethan does. Like, because like the second I heard that Ethan Ethan and Crowder were going to debate, I knew immediately. I didn't know what he was going to do. I didn't know that he would bring Sam Seder in. I thought for sure, though, that there was no way that Ethan was going to genuinely have a real debate. I thought for sure he was going to just show up. I thought what he was going to do was he was just going to go up there and sort of like waste everybody's time, like intentionally, and like not really like pay that much attention to like what the fuck was going on. Or maybe he would like completely just to troll Crowder. I thought he was just going to like just say a bunch of nonsense. Kind of like how he started off doing. Like when Crowder was like, oh, this is my issue with your CDC comment. And Ethan was like, did you know they practice like boy love in fucking Rome or whatever the fuck?
Sparta or whatever.
That's what I thought he was going to do. Just like waste people's time. Which like, you know, wouldn't have been that great of a joke, but like, you know, whatever. He does what he does. I thought the fact that he did that switcheroo and pulled this dude in front of him, the dude he's been clearly avoiding, that he admitted to avoiding in that clip also, where he's like, oh, I don't know you, I don't watch your show, nobody watches your show, hey, you went off offline early last week, and it's like, how did you know that?
How did you know that, bitch?
I didn't know that. Like, you know, so like, the fact that he did that switcheroo impressed me, because I was expecting like a far lamer twist. Like I was expecting a far lamer joke, a far lamer troll. But instead, he pulled this like awesome card where it's like, holy shit, that he actually got these two people in front of each other. And I just thought it was funny. Like, and Crowder just could have handled it like a fucking adult and just been like, because he was just screaming the whole time, like over everybody. He would even go like, Ethan, Sam. And he would just like, he would do this like thing that you would do to like a child, you know? Where he was just like, hey, calm down. He's just trying to get over everybody. He didn't want to let.
You want me to answer your question? You want me to answer your question? You want to answer your question? I'm answering. Like it was just like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah,
just talk. Just talk.
Super. It's just stalling. And like, dude, like, I get it. You can have a different read on all sorts of things. Like perspectives are different. I get it. But like, I seriously, I genuinely can't fathom how anybody thinks Crowder comes out of that looking good. Like I really can't. I cannot grasp that concept at all. And maybe Ethan doesn't look like the most stand-up dude. He pulled a switcheroo, like whatever. But like, that's the MO. Like, that's not surprising. And also, dude, Crowder crashes shit. Like you remember when he crashed that Young Turks panel dressed as Jank to like fucking harass the audience and like sit like behind? It's like, what is? I don't see how this is any worse.
His audience has extreme cognitive dissonance to where they don't care about any of the bullshit that he does. They just ignore it, like you would do to any cult leader that you follow. You ignore any of the weird shit that he does, and then the cool shit that he does is awesome. And because I remember I was talking about this not that long ago. I was like, when did I start paying attention to Crowder at all? It was when Milo Yiannopoulos showed up. And he went on this rant because I think Christina Salmas was trying to like give a talk about feminism or whatever, and she was being heckled. So then Steven went on this rant that at the time, I remember it being, I haven't watched it in years, but at the time I remember it being entertaining, like, oh, who is this guy? And then it got to the point where I started growing more, and he asked me to talk about some issues within like the black community and this and stuff like that. And I'm like, I want to give my take on this. And that's as far as it went. After that, when I started actually seeing who this guy was and what he was doing, the stunts he was pulling and shit, and just getting worse and worse and worse, and I was just like, is anybody noticing this? Or is this... And then people are like, oh, it's just comedy, bro. It's just this and this and that. And I'm like, there's nothing... I can't... Like, this guy sucks. I don't like this guy at all. Like, I don't like fucking Crowder at all. And there's people that... they really like him and they respect him, and this is why they can't get over... They're just like, I can't believe anybody would do something like this to you. You're such a great person.
Yeah.
It's like they can't. So truthful.
Yeah, it's like you can't admit when your team loses. Kind of. It's the same thing that happened with the election. To be honest, like it was just like, no, he can win. He can still win, bro. And it's like, all right, but yeah, I don't even have like all that much of an opinion on Crowder, just because I don't watch anything he does. Like he pops up on trending sometimes. I remember back when he him and Carlos Maza were fighting, and I remember being like, oh, neither of these people are good. And everybody was like, a lot of people were like, no, Crowder's like the evil one, and Carlos Maza's the great. It's like, nah, dude, Carlos Maza sucks. But, you know, that wasn't like a defense of Crowder so much. It was just like a basic, just kind of, analysis of like the actual situation from as objective a point of view that I could give. But I don't really have that much of an opinion on Crowder. So I went into that debate probably as unbiased as a person could if they're like familiar with this sphere. Like I'm pretty ignorant about Crowder. Like I don't know shit about his beliefs, or like I remember he said something crazy about like AIDS, but I don't even remember what the fuck that was. So I just watched this for what it was, and what it was some guy being confronted with somebody who he's been avoiding and running away instead of taking the opportunity to show why this person wasn't worth his time. You know, he could have just done that. But I think he knows he couldn't have done that because he didn't want a real debate in the first place. He wanted to trounce Ethan, who is not a good debater. And I think that's just
admitted it himself.
Yeah, that's just
by saying he wanted he wanted an easy layup. He said that. And so that's what he was looking for.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think there's that much honor in that. I mean, it could be fun, I guess, but you can't be... Dude, here's the thing. Ethan isn't the change my mind guy. You know? You can't be the change my mind guy and then run away from a debate that, especially when everything's done for you. Like the path of least resistance in the moment that Sam Seder showed up would have just been to do the debate, and you would have looked like you would have come off better if you just did it. Or I mean, who knows? Maybe he wouldn't have, because he doesn't. He wasn't prepared. That's also probably. I think that's likely why he ran.
Sure, but here's the thing that, and I want to say this. It's one of the things that he definitely should have done it, because I believe no matter what happened, his audience would have thought he won, no matter what happened.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't matter if he got, like, say, this happens all the time where somebody competent comes on somebody's show, like David Rubin or whoever, and then they just get torn apart, and then their audience is still there. None of them leaves. None of them questions anything. Like, say, Tim Pool, for example. Like, I don't hate Tim Pool or anything.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of his information is fucking egregious. And to the point where you can be, like I mentioned, the whole Trump landslide thing. I just don't understand how you could be so, like, you can have so much faith in somebody who can get some shit. So, not even just one prediction. There's compilations of him saying this multiple times. Getting other people to believe the hype, and then it doesn't happen. Wouldn't you be like, this guy was so wrong about this shit? What the fuck else is he wrong about? Wouldn't you be like skeptical? But they're not. They're just like, Tim Pool said this and it's true. And I'm like, okay. All right, dude. So I think Crowder, if he would have just done it, Crowder could have just literally said anything. It didn't even have to be about the CDC. It could just be like, oh yeah, fucking, it's Corona's actually AIDS or some shit.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then people would have been like, well,
he could have also just denied the debate like an adult. Like but he didn't. Like, it was just so I love that he took the screen away from him to like show this dude who like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
But
never heard of him.
I don't know, man. That was a fucking crazy day, cuz I was cracking the fuck up watching that. I couldn't believe it. Like, I really couldn't believe what a shit show that was. And I just couldn't believe some of the readout from some people on it, because I felt like I was taking crazy pills. It's like, am I insane?
It feels that way.
Yeah, because some people are just like really just being, it's like, nah, Crowder did great. And it's like, like the way I think about it is, if these roles were reversed, there's no way. Like, if Crowder crashed Sam Seder's show, right? And then, like, Sam Seder just insulted him and, like, ran away. There's no way you'd be like, oh, Sam Seder did well. Like, there's no fucking way that you would think that. So I think here's the thing. If anybody's, like, listening to this and they're like, maybe they're a Crowder listener. I know we got some people in the audience who are probably Crowder listener. I just want you to, like, think a little bit more critically about the people that you enjoy. And that, by the way, could be us as well. Like, whatever. Like, you could disagree with us wholeheartedly, and that's fine. But the thing that worries me in general is the lack of, not accountability, but the lack of questioning that happens with, like, pundits or big content creators and their audience. I think about this with like Dream's audience and like any devoted audience, there's a risk of just not really being able to see a flaw in the thing that in the person that you admire, or the person that you look up to, or whatever the fuck. And I would just say, just try and be a little bit more self-aware and as objective as you can be. Not too self-aware, because that's not good for you. You're going to go crazy. You're going to think about how the fact that you're just a bunch of bones, maneuvering a little meat sack around. That's not healthy for you. But I think, like, maybe the halfway point to that point where you can kind of just analyze the things that you like in a way that's like, oh yeah, that wasn't great. Like, you can still like Crowder after this, even if you can admit to yourself that he didn't do a good job. No one should be, like, written off from the face of the earth just because they don't perform well in a debate, But I don't know. That's I guess our read on it. I think Sweeny largely agrees. I've talked about him
with a lot of ad hominems.
Yeah. If Sweeny was here, he'd probably threaten to beat up Crowder, and then we'd have to, like, cut it out. But
Yo, can you imagine Sweeny debating Crowder?
I would love that. That'd be great.
It would be just him talking shit for like 5 minutes. It would be that's what I want. Like there's something I'm gonna say this. There's something beautiful about if you guys have never heard of this, internet blood sports. But here's the thing. The thing that sucked about it was the worst people doing it.
Yeah.
I hated that the people that were involved in the internet blood sports where people were just bitching at each other had nothing to do with debating. It was just Jerry Springer. I hated all those people. But I would love to see people I like or I'm interested in just talk shit to each other. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like it's so I would love to see just Sweeny just go on and immediately just talk shit about him and then Crowder would try to compose himself like, oh, I knew you were just gonna do this. You were just gonna be all this and this and this and that. And then Sweeny just like, I don't care, fuck you. It would have been great.
One thing I will say, this is the best outcome that we could have gotten.
100%.
Like an
100%.
actual for real Crowder versus Ethan debate about masks.
I wouldn't
fucking
watch it, I'll be honest.
boring as fuck. Like I would not have tuned in. The only reason I even bothered to check it out was because I saw like a Twitter video, like I guess like a hype thing. I think it was Crowder that posted it, where it was like, you know, which by the way, I think Crowder's like milking this for all it's worth because of course. But you know, I saw a video of like, oh no, Sam Seder, and Sam Seder shows up, and I'm like, holy shit, that is wild that actually happened. And that's the only reason I tuned in. There's no way in hell I was going to watch Ethan just talk about fucking like, just like the CDC is pretty like good and they do fine things or whatever. And they're wrong sometimes, but whatever. Just fucking wear the mask. And Crowder would be like, well, what about AIDS? And like, I can't. It would have been so fucking lame to have a seasoned, like, change my mind debater and like some dude who just does like drama podcasts to fucking talk about masks. Like, no one would have given a shit. But this, as much of a shit show as it was a show, and I thought it was entertaining as hell. I was cracking the fuck up. Dude, stop showing your leprechaun co-host. Dude, it's ridiculous. I had a good time with it, but I get that people were disappointed.
Yeah, those people are fucking boring. Like, those people are boring. Like, the people that are disappointed, like, you actually wanted to see, because you saw people, oh, Ethan's gonna get destroyed. I'm like, you want to watch that? To me, that's like secondhand embarrassment watching Ethan stumble upon his words, like you said, and then Crowder coming up with fake statistics, because that's what would have happened. Crowder would have fucking got statistics from Ben Shapiro or somebody else that has no credibility and says, this sounds good, I'm gonna use this. Well, you know.
And here's the thing about debates, and this is why I kind of don't like debates in the way that they exist now, especially when they're like personality driven. It doesn't really matter who's right. It just matters who's good at debating. Like, you could have somebody who's like objectively correct on everything, and they could lose a debate just because they don't, I don't know, exude confidence, or maybe they don't speak in the right way, or maybe they're like not using the right words. Because being right and communicating your argument are two very different things. Like, communicating your position is actually like a really difficult thing for a lot of people to do. It's why debating is a skill, you know? And even like for somebody like me who's like, I can formulate an opinion and you know, I can communicate that, but I have to write it. Like I'd have to like sit and like, you know, assemble it and like edit it and like maybe like run through it once and be like, oh, that belongs here. And like, I can't off the cuff just make like a super compelling argument. Like, I'd have to prepare for like a fucking long time. And there's some people who are just really good just off the bat. So, you know, Crowder, I think, would have objectively, like, I think would have won that debate, even if I think he would have been wrong on every single point, because there's no way Ethan understands even the rules of a debate or like the skill set that's needed. He just doesn't possess that. He just doesn't.
He's never been like quippy with his words or anything like that, or like really savvy. And so yeah, I totally get that. And it's a shame. It's a shame that like what you're saying, that's how it is, that you can just sway people with you know, just being good at speaking great rhetoric will win the debate. It sucks. It sucks, Dick.
Yeah, that's all it was, dude. That dates back to fucking, what is it? Oh my god, JFK and Nixon, I think, when like people who were listening to it on the radio thought Nixon won, but like people who were watching it on TV, where they could see like JFK's fucking handsome like fuckboy face,
Yeah.
like thought like, oh, that handsome man who's fucking Marilyn. I was gonna say Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Monroe. But like, you know, it's debates are weird, man, and I don't know. I'm glad we didn't get a fucking boring, you know, Ethan versus Crowder mass debate. Thank fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Now that every single Crowder fan has abandoned us. Oh no, he's gone. It's just me. Let's just keep going, I guess. Let's talk about. Okay, so I want to be careful about how we talk about this thing because we don't really know exactly what the fuck's going on, but I'm sure. Listen, I know our demographics. I know there's a lot of people in our audience probably who probably grew up with Drake and Josh. You know, probably big fans like, you know, the Game Sphere. Like, you know, I ain't calling you a truther. You know, I know you're out there. I loved Drake and Josh too when I was a kid. But some weird information came out about Drake. By the way, Drake Bell's like really bizarre, like as a person now. Like he like changed his name and like he's doing a lot of like Mexican songs
his
now,
like El Draco or something.
Yeah, El Draco,
something like that.
He's just making all this weird like acoustic pop Spanish just music. Like I remember I heard some song like Fuego Lento or something, and it's like, all right, Drake Bell.
Well, apparently his music tanked in the U.S., but it was pretty big in Mexico. So that's what I'm hearing. But then I hear other things too. Why he moved to Mexico?
Yeah,
that's
that's
what you're about to talk about.
Yeah, so I don't want to say anything that's wrong legally, so I'll just say this: Drake Bell, whose first name is Jared, because of course it is in trouble for child endangerment. That is a very vague thing, very weird. That could be anything from some standard Jared stuff to, you know, oh, I took my little brother out drinking and we got caught. Like that is the spectrum of shit that fits under that category. But you know, it's just another one of these where it's like a little uncomfortable, just because this is like kind of, this would be like finding out that oh my god, I'm trying to this would be like finding out Miranda Cosgrove sold like crack to children, you know, like it's just like, oh, weird.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, that would be actually cool. Like props to Miranda Cosgrove cracking up those kids. But this is so. I just want to touch on this because it was a thing that happened, and like it just sort of like went away real quick because I think something else. I think it happened the same day as the Crowder debate, where like that information came out, so it just got lost or something. And like Jared, I'm already calling him Jared, but and
Jared.
Drake Bell was just like. Thank God somebody else is taking some heat off, but
yeah, he got lucky because
man,
got buried quick, man. And the contrast between Drake and Josh Peck is fucking insane. Like, remember Josh Peck being just this fat, goofy idiot in the show, and now he lost all this weight. He's all tanned. He's handsome as shit. He's got a kid with the like hot girlfriend or whatever, doing well, collabing with all these fucking huge YouTubers and stuff. Looks fantastic. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Looking at Drake Bell, he looks like absolute shit. And they're like, I think is he still in his 30s? I think. Like he can't be that old.
Way. He can't be in his 30s, right? Hold on, wait.
He's probably like early because he's like he's like my age or something.
No way, he's early 30s.
He's probably older. What do you think he is?
I was thinking like 41 or something.
Oh, you think so?
Maybe
you're right. I mean,
okay, no, okay, well, 35. So all right,
35.
fair enough. I was not right.
He He looks like he's in his 40s though. He looks like shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I guess that's the problem when you look acceptably acceptable when you're that age, when you're just like, oh, that's the hot one on the show, and here's the fat one, and it's like, at that point, it's like, you really don't have anywhere to go, because I don't see a way that Drake could have improved, but Josh had all this room, you know, like, and so, like, of course he was gonna, like, the best avenue that Drake could have had was, like, he just stays the same, but he's just gonna age because that's what happens to people. So he just would have looked like an older version of what he was before, which is just worse by definition.
Yeah, but he looks like he's been doing a lot of El Drugos, you know, like he looks. It's not like he's aging. Like, oh, this guy just looks older. Like Josh. Like, if you look at Josh, Josh looks like a man now. Like Drake just looks strung out. Like, he looks fucked up. And I was like, damn, dude. Like, it's not good. And then obviously, probably with all that legal shit hanging over him, it fucking aged him another 10 years. So that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm trying to find, like, more specific information on it, but it's still, like, a lot of the information is, like, super fucking vague still. But it says there's this one thing that's kind of funny where it says, okay, news. Where is it? Drake Bell is seen for the first time at Disneyland since pleading guilty to child endangerment charges. That was 10 hours ago, so that's a little bit of a funny.
You went to Disneyland?
After pleading guilty.
Jesus Christ.
With his kid. He's with his kid, too, I think. He's holding a baby. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Oh, bad optics, man.
Yeah.
Just a fucking lawyer.
I guess, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't just stop living your life or whatever, but at the same time, it's
you
like,
cannot go to Disneyland.
I don't know, maybe celebrating is
cool. Hey, just have a big party at his fucking house or something. Why would you go to Disneyland?
Yeah, Jesus. Celebratory guilty to child endangerment party. Look, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's the situation, so I don't know how hard I want to go in on Drake Bell. I don't know what the fuck he did. So I don't want to treat him like a Jared if he's not a Jared, you know. But this is still pretty funny. We'll no doubt learn more eventually. Shit like this eventually always has more information to come out from it. But I just wanted to touch on that because somebody was asking about it. Like, there was some comments about it. It's like, oh, I can't believe they didn't talk about Drake Bell. It's like, well, here you go.
Do you think that he had any ties with Dan Schneider? Like, say, you think they did any, like, tag team shit?
Oh my God.
That guy's like a fucking weirdo. You know what I'm saying?
That is another person where it's like, how? Like, what? Like, how is that? How has nothing come up about that? You know, like, I guess, like, I wasn't there. You know, I'm not a child celebrity, so I don't know what the fuck was going on. I don't have any real information. So this is all just speculation. But, dude, that guy's so creepy looking. And, like, there's so many weird things in his shows and so many weird things that apparently happened that weren't necessarily illegal, but were a little fucking weird to be doing. Borderline. It's just, I'm astonished that no one's... Maybe this guy's the unluckiest fucking human in the world, and he just happens to look like like a disgusting oaf, and he just happens
it's just
to
all
have
a coincidence.
Can you imagine? There's no such thing as a coincidence.
There's no such thing. I just saw that video yesterday.
Dude, that fucking video is like that might be one of the best videos I think I've ever seen. He looks like a pharaoh. He's got these
he's an alien.
He's got these, like, Egyptian, like, cartoon pharaoh eyes, and it's just like that.
Dude, he's the, like, you know those, like, what is it, like, the Sumerians talked about those aliens. What were they called? Something with, like, an E or some shit.
Oh, I
forget what they're called.
They're
like
up.
these the Sumerian. What is it?
I'll look it up.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's the beings that created us or some shit. That's him. He's one of them. I'm sure of it. That chick that screams while he's jogging and stuff, she recognized it too. Like, this isn't a human. That's why she screams.
It is, like, a really uncomfortable video. Like, he's just, like, making direct eye contact with the lens, and it's just, like, he's in the woods, and he's got this weird, like, What's weird about it too is like none of his other content is funny. So like I'm trying to figure out like personally, like I'm just trying to piece it together. Like, is this a joke? Like, is this a bit? Like, is this like an elaborate ruse where it's like, oh, it was like a setup, but like, why would that be the one outlier?
That's the one outlier because his other content isn't like that. So it just seems like, why just this one thing? Unless he's just that much of a genius. And I think what I'm talking about is what I was talking about the Sumerians. It's not it's their book. It's the Book of Enoch. What I was thinking of that talks about that bullshit or whatever. Something, but he's extraterrestrial. I bet my life savings on it, which is not that much. But I'm saying he's not fucking human. I guarantee you, if you stab him, like clear will come out of him. Just like
just tears.
Yes.
He just cries out of his wounds.
Teary substance. It's. Yeah,
I wonder if like maybe it could be explained some other way. Like maybe it was real, but maybe like she wasn't screaming at him, and maybe she like was turning to apologize, and maybe her jaw got fucked up because maybe she like missed a step, or like maybe she like slipped a little bit and she screamed, and maybe that's why he didn't react. Because like I'm trying to think of like scenarios, but then at the same time it's like I don't want to think of other scenarios because the scenario that is implied is so fucking funny. That he just gazes into this woman's eyes, potentially like steals a memory from first grade, potentially like steals like wisdom from like her grandmother that she now no longer has, and her grandmother's dead, so there's no way she's gonna get it back. Like and she screams because she realizes she's being drained by this fucking force, and he just continues with the script. He just keeps fucking. There's no cut.
You know what I think? What I think he actually did was he showed her death.
That's what I thought.
Like he's some force where he can fucking do that. Like he just looked at her, and then when they caught eyes, he literally showed her how she's gonna fucking die.
She touched his hand, like, oh, I'm sorry, and then she saw like her entire life, like the rest of her life. She just collapses on the ground, and then he turns around and keeps going. Like, if you're watching this video right now, you and I are energetically linked. And it's like, oh my god, this fucking dude. What a fucking strange video. I love it.
I need to find this man. Or this entity, excuse me.
We should have him on the podcast.
You should. Oh, dude. I actually want you to message this guy. just to see.
If I could find him, I would be immeasurably curious to like see what the fuck. Although like it would be fun to just do an episode with that dude and like get the answer to like whether or not it's real and just like never air it. Just it's information that only we have.
Yeah.
I
would love that.
Oh my god. And yeah, and to wrap up some of the stuff that happened, just so we're up to date, there's this fucking dude on Twitter, Oil London TV. Never heard of him in my life, but he apparently transitioned into Korean. So I don't know what to make of that exactly. That is wild. There's a video of him talking and his surgery. It looks like, he certainly got surgery, man. This was a phenomenon kind of brought up because of that Rachel Dolezal person. Yeah.
Yeah, and now this dude just took it to the next level where I want to look Korean. So I'm going to destroy my face with surgery, and at the end of the day, when he's healed, he's not going to look Asian at all.
No, he's gonna look like someone who had bad plastic surgery. This is why, like, I just don't understand, dude. Just age, man. Just fucking get old, bro. Like, it's fine. Like, I've never seen an old person that looks out of place unless they have fucking plastic surgery. Then it's like so fucking obvious, like Dolly Parton and shit like that, where it's like, holy fuck, dude. Why? That's why I love Betty White. I think Betty White is so endearing because, like, she's very clearly an old person who didn't try. She embraces
it.
And who the fuck knows? Maybe she did, and it's just like I don't know. I doubt it because she looks her age. You know, she looks like, hey, I'm fucking elderly. I'm 100 or I'm 164, whatever the fuck, how old I am. And I'm fine with it, and everybody loves me. As opposed to these other people who look like fucking jelly beans. And it's like...
Who's the chick that just died recently? Who are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Oh, I don't know.
Comedian?
Oh my God.
Something with a J.
It's not Joan Rivers, is it? That's a while ago.
Joan Rivers. Well, like recently, within the past couple of years or something. She died like maybe a few years ago or a year ago or two or something.
She died in 2014.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are you wearing?
Yeah.
Who are you wearing?
Fuck, I gotta get my hands on that interface. I want echoes, man. No, fucking. I only remember that because that was around the time Robin Williams died, which was ages ago as well. So,
oh shit.
Yeah, because I remember they were in dead people compilations or whatever.
Okay.
In memoriams.
I can't. It's every time I think about Robin, like it's not funny at all. Like him killing himself, but I just picture his quippy, his voice. You know how he does shit like, "Hey, look at me, I'm gonna commit suicide." Like it always runs through my head, and
I understand why. It's hard to like. He's such a character that it's hard to imagine him speaking in any other way. It's just like.
Did you know
he just does cartoon voices? What?
There's a video that exists of Stefan Molyneux crying because Robin Williams died and blaming it. Yeah, and he's blaming the death on his ex-wife because of the alimony, which I'm sure that contributed to his depression because he was paying however many figures per month, which is a stupid amount of money. But he was like at the end, like, shame on you. No, I'm gonna go have sex with some white people and so whatever the hell.
I'm gonna go keep the bloodline pure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go collect more of Taylor Swift's eggs or whatever. And,
yeah, fucking that was sad, man. Like I remember that was one of the first celebrity deaths that I was like, oh shit, wow, that's actually like I feel genuinely sad today. I don't know if I cried. I don't think I cried about it, but like, I don't know, maybe. Like, yeah, it's possible, but I don't remember it. But I remember being like fucking bummed. I remember when I found out too, I was in a fucking coffee shop with a friend of mine, and this was like 2014, so I was like a fucking idiot. And we were like planning on how to like fuck with a friend of ours. We were going to get this cake and like shove a bunch of shit on it, or like shove a bunch of shit in like a zucchini and like all this there's just like bored like upstate New York shit where you're just there's nothing to do and you're like you can't really transport yourself reliably, so you're just like I'm gonna go fucking shove a cake in my friend's car in the middle of the night because fuck it. And
that's really cool.
We were so bored. It was such a boring place to live. And we were in the coffee shop and we were talking about it, and then like my friend goes, Robin Williams just died. And then like everyone in the coffee shop turned around, looked at us, super silent. They checked their phones. And the vibe just dies. It's insane. Like I've never seen. It was like it made me believe in like energies, like when people talk about like your energy is weird. On a fucking dime, it went from feeling like it's a coffee shop and we're planning like a fun little thing to like it felt like fucking Castlevania where like shit was like really really dire and really fucking sad. But
yeah. That happened. Same deal. I was actually on my way to your house to record Snark Tank, and then Kobe exploded. And I was in.
That's right.
I was in Dunkin' Donuts or whatever fucking donut shop I was in, and then people were just like so stunned, like the workers and everything. It didn't even seem real. Like I saw Josh Peck, coincidentally, he posted about it, and I'm like, is this guy just being a complete piece of shit and trolling? That was crazy. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was back when crazy. Josh Peck's internet presence was like a little bit more nebulous. He didn't really know what to make of him. He was just kind of like around. So it was totally plausible at the time to think like, so was this like some joke? Is he doing like an edgy thing now? But like, no, it's just totally fucking real. Yeah. But I guess moral of the story is, dude, if you can help it, if you can avoid plastic surgery, I would recommend avoiding it. Like there are certain things that I get, like, a nose job to me is like, all right, those don't tend to age poorly, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
I gotta disagree, man.
Really?
Like most nose jobs that I see, like, because they all want this fucking narrow, straight nose, and they all end up looking like Michael Jackson to me. They just look like Michael Jackson noses. I love ethnic noses, and this is me.
I'm with you. I understand. This is exactly my thing too, where it's like it makes me sad because like I like Lady Gaga to me is so fucking gorgeous. Like I fucking, if she changed her nose to be more generic, I feel like I'd feel a little betrayed. But that's just me, my personal preference. Like in general, all I'm saying is like, as far as like things that tend to age poorly.
Okay.
A nose job is pretty safe because like there are people who get like Botox in the cheeks and they just look like fucking.
They're always smiling and shit.
Yeah, they look like you know how SpongeBob has those stupid little cheeks that are like always like they look like thin SpongeBobs. Thin, elderly, fucking wrinkly SpongeBobs, and it's like fucking really bizarre to watch. But like, usually a nose job is kind of hard to even tell. Like you wouldn't even know unless you saw them before. Like you'd have no fucking clue. Like,
that's true.
So it's like, at the very least, I understand the practicality and like, all right, I want to change my nose, and it's gonna look good for pretty much ever. Fine, fair enough. But like, the second you start injecting your forehead with shit. And like bringing your cheeks up and like cutting the back of your neck in half to pull your face up. It's just like, maybe just calm down a little bit. Just, do what you want to do, but also,
it's
word of
nuts.
advice.
I hate it. I hate it 100%. The only thing that I've ever been like, say, I tolerated is just like, tit jobs, because that's the thing where, the people go crazy with them. But moderate boob jobs, like they just look like, okay, they looks like boobs, fine. And I understand that's the one thing you really can't, like, say for example, you get in fantastic shape, like a lot of female athletes are. So like the fat disappears from their tits. So I understand like why they would want to do. I'm like, fair enough. I don't give a shit at the end of the day. I don't care if you have A cups, that's fine. But if you want to just like I'm like, fine, I get it. You know? The face, I'm like, I would love for you to leave it alone, unless you look like you were born with, being smacked by a hammer. I understand maybe why you would want to get something.
Yeah. There are cases, and obviously, like, we're not, you get to do whatever you want with your body. Like, we're just like,
of course,
it's just basic shit. But like to me, it's like
I'll never. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like we wouldn't shame people for doing it. It's just more of
never.
It's more of just like I guess I just wish so many people didn't feel like they had to do it, I guess.
That's what I'm talking about. I wish people saw what we see, Like,
exactly.
People see themselves in a completely different way. We're like, oh, my this is that. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? You're gorgeous. Like, you look great. And it's kind of a fucked up thing.
Yeah. It is just a little strange. Boob jobs are fucking kind of wild. Like, the thing that's wild to me is like, I didn't know this. I've LA, you come across a lot of people who've had all sorts of work done, and I remember having a conversation where like, I don't have any feeling in my nipples now, and I was like, that sounds terrible. Isn't that like a thing that you'd want to keep intact?
Right.
Like
sucking on nipples is dope, dog. Sucking on nipples is fucking sick.
It's just wild that you would sacrifice that, like I can't imagine that. Like I can't imagine wanting to. I don't know. This is I don't know. It's a completely different facet of being alive, I guess. That's just that I can't fathom. But at least don't try not to look like Joan Rivers.
There you go.
Main thing. But all right, let's move into some of these questions. We don't have too many because we actually managed to get through pretty much the entire month for once. We usually have holdovers. We start the next month with some of the last questions of the previous month, but like we're pretty much done. So we've got only a handful of questions here. And first one is Hexbugs, trademark. He wrote in, my question relates to the apparently controversial topic of eating bugs. As someone who has never had a stigma against insect eating, I actually cooked and ate some of the Brood X cicadas this year. And they were actually not bad at all. For those curious, they have very mild flavor, somewhat similar to squid. I can't even imagine that. Chris and many others seem to be extremely against this for some reason, despite not actually trying how insects taste. I want to get to that because something happened recently.
For some reason.
For some reason, yeah. Based on what I understand from wait, what is this? Based on what I understand from Chris's most recent video, this opinion seems to at least partially revolve around how insects are synonymous with pestilence or otherwise unclean. If this is the case, then yeah, it's true. You wouldn't eat a fucking house roach in the same way you wouldn't eat just a random rat. But roaches are as different from other insects as rat is from cattle or pigs. Anyways, my question in a more specific way is there a more specific reason why you are vehemently against insect cuisine besides just holding on to the opinion that bugs are icky? I guess this is more super directed at me. I don't know how you feel about eating fucking insects, but
I feel the same as the vast majority of sane people do. You know? Like, if there's no need to, why?
Exactly. Dude, it's just, by the way, like that. The video is supposed to be an entertaining thing. Like, I was obviously like, oh, hey, these things are synonymous with pestilence. They look like demons. They move like automatons. Why would you eat that? It's like, I was just trying to be funny. But on a real level, dude, it's like when I see, just on a base, like, evolutionary reaction, when I see animals, usually I'm like, how cute, you know, or like, or like if it's like if it's like a chicken, it's like, adorable. And sometimes it's like, whatever, I'll eat it. Fuck it. You know, because I'm aware of how they taste, right? And they don't bother me on a fundamental level. But, dude, insects, I think fundamentally on, like, a genuine, like ape brain level, are repugnant. They're fucking disgusting creatures. Like, there's a whole... You remember that SpongeBob episode where the butterfly, like... everybody loves it. It's so cute. And then you get to actually see what the fuck a butterfly is, and everybody's horrified because they're disgusting. And that's supposed to be, like, one of the most beautiful bugs that could possibly exist. And look, there's some bugs that are, like, kind of cute. Like fucking ladybugs I don't have too much of a problem with. But I wouldn't
bumblebees.
Yeah, or, like, bumblebees. Like, they're a little furry and whatever.
And I wouldn't eat a bumblebee either, or a ladybug.
Right. Because, first of all, it's so little to even bother when you could just, like, have rice or, like, any other thing that's also small and not an insect. Like, imagine just getting a bowl of fucking cicadas. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Like, just fuck you. I'm going to eat literally anything else. And I have an update to this because I made the mistake of doing a live stream with my dear friend, Laci Green, a couple days ago. And she was like, oh, we're going to do this, like, little, like, stream. It'll be fun. We haven't streamed in a long time. It's like, yeah, we haven't. That's cool. It'll be fun. And she was like, so I'm going to have you blindfolded, and I'm going to feed you all this weird shit. And I'm like, sure, that sounds good. As long as there's no bugs or cicadas, I'm good. Well, there were bugs. Crickets. I ate jalapeno garlic crickets, and immediately I knew. I was chewing it, and I was like, you know what? I'll put the clip, like, right here.
I swear to God, if this is bugs. Is this bugs?
Absolutely not.
Laci. Is this bugs? I don't believe you that it's not bugs.
All right, fine. It's bugs.
Ah!
No amount of seasoning, no amount of anything gets rid of the texture of that shit. And people are really sly about it, too. They're like, about the bug thing, where they're like, oh, well, did you know there's some bugs in, like, candy and, like, chocolate? And, like, there's, like, some percentage of insect in, like, a lot of the things that we eat? And it's like, yeah. But I want that percentage to be as small as we could get it.
Yes.
Oh, there's bugs in peanut butter. It's like, how much? Like, you know how much bug is in cricket? 100%. It's 100% bug. If I'm eating peanut butter, it's like maybe like what, 0.3% insect? Maybe on the high level, maybe it's like maybe 5. which is like
Yeah.
high, but it's not the fucking overwhelming majority, which is the key point in what I'm saying. It's like, it's not that I'm opposed to the very premise of insects finding their way into shit, and like, I understand that we consume all sorts of bullshit that we're not supposed to consume. I'm fine with that because there's no way to really avoid that. But if I have a choice, dude, if I have a choice between like eating a steak or a chicken or a bucket of crickets, I feel like I shouldn't have to make it. I feel like that should be the argument. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to explain myself. And look, maybe you're into that. God bless you. But also fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we don't have that genetic code, right? To where it's just automatically appetizing like we're fucking lizards. Like, you know how you, like, you put bugs in front of lizards and they light up? They're like, ooh. You know, like,
yeah.
I don't have that desire in any way, shape, or form. First bug I ever ate in elementary school was cheddar and barbecue mealworms, and I refused to eat the head because I just refused. I refused to eat the head. I'm like, I'm not with the black. Like, I'm not. The fact that you want, like, we don't do that when we eat meat. Like, most people, like,
yeah.
you know, there's a lot of people that do, but most people just eat the muscle tissue because it tastes amazing. And they leave the head alone and parts, and they don't eat the eyes typically.
That is really psychotic when you think about it. It's like, here's a freshly roasted pig face, and it's like, why'd you give me this?
Chomping on its eyes, and like they're all like, eyes are really hard too.
Yeah.
Like, so like, imagine biting into that. People do that shit, and I'm like, you're fucking wild. You're crazy. But most people understand when an animal hits the fire and its tissue, its muscle tissue, just smells amazing. Because even like a lot of times the organ meat sometimes doesn't smell that good. You're like, this is a little off, this is a little gamey. But the muscles, a fucking incredible smell. Anyway,
yeah.
So that's why we eat that shit, because it smells fucking amazing. Crickets, cicadas, all that shit. Like, I don't want cinnamon toast crickets or like, it's just, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, look, if there was no other protein available, sure. But like you said, beans and rice can make a complete protein. I'll eat beans and rice for the rest of my life, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, no, me too. I love rice and beans. Like, are you kidding?
Great.
Like, why would I? And the thing is, like, I had people tell me, like, no, they're good though. And like, if you get like specifically like in response to crickets, it's like, oh man, if you get like flavored, like this flavor of cricket and that flavor of cricket, they're pretty good. It's like, no, the flavor is good. All you like is the flavor and the crunch, which, by the way, you could get from, I don't know, chips. The things that we've had for a fucking long ass time.
Corn, potatoes.
Yeah, like, dude, so much. Like, I don't know. Like, I have to question anybody's desire to relate so heavily with reptiles. Like, imagine just like seeing like a fucking animal or like a fucking frog, like just like a fly, and be like, oh man, imagine that making you hungry.
Exactly.
Like, fuck you. Like, you're out of your own pocket at that point. I can't help you. Like, you know, there's only so much we can do. But I appreciate the question anyway. Expo, sorry we really fucking laid in on you. But also, stop eating bugs. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
What's going on here?
I think I said something like oh my god, what is it? Because an argument was made. It was like, indigenous cultures used to do this all the time, and the colonialists or the colonizers never did it. And it's like, well, maybe that was why they were so effective at colonizing, because they didn't have fucking literal pests crawling around in their fucking insides. I don't know. It's just disgusting. You're all gross. Yeah. James Passmore wrote in. He says, are video game, movie / soundtracks as important as an album made by an artist? At first, I thought this was like, obviously no way, but then I thought about like a movie without a score, and like Doom without Mick Gordon, or like Halo without the Gregorian chants, or like Mega Man without the chiptune. And I started to think like, oh, maybe they're kind of close, you know?
It is extremely important. They're pretty much on the same level. It's just how we don't when a movie or a video game's released, there isn't like say a title of the score or the person who wrote the score or the soundtrack is not on the game or movie title. It's not around. You know, it's very rare when somebody like maybe you might get something like that with Hans Zimmer or like fucking John Williams or some shit where they might really try to throw it in there to be like, hey, you're gonna like this. But rarely you have to look it up yourself and be like, oh, who the fuck did this?
Yeah, like I could see some indie game if like they were like, we got Danny Elfman to score this, and they would be like, they would just have his name on there just for the sake of like, you know, like because that would be pretty cool, and it would be worth putting on the box, I think. But yeah, like you're right. It's I would say they're not. It's not as important because like literally an artist is just what do you have out of that if not the album? You know, like it's just a person at that point.
Yeah.
So it's not as important, but at the same time, it's like I think they're a lot closer than you would imagine because like fuck, dude, I can't even imagine. Every movie that has like a memorable score would be fucking so lame, like without that score. Like it's even just like simple shit like Home Alone without the setting the trap music when he's like when he leaves his macaroni, which pissed me off by the way as a kid. I was so fucking upset. That macaroni looks so fucking good. Like I'm actually hungry thinking about that the Home Alone mac and cheese. But
yeah, I was just thinking of, or I was just watching a Goonies YouTube poop, and just that iconic. Yeah, I know. But that iconic music, that like that adventure music, dun 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 dun. It's just such an iconic part of that movie.
yeah.
And if there's no sound, it would just be extremely different. And I think about my favorite movies, all of my favorite movies. Well, maybe not all of them, but most of them have like an amazing score, and it really like drives it. But I was thinking of The Matrix, for example, and that's actually kind of the exception. I don't really think about the music that much when I'm watching The Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's some like kind of drum and bass. What I don't even know what the fuck is some.
It would definitely be worse without it.
Yeah.
And if you got like a cut of The Matrix without music, you'd miss the music real quick. Obviously, like with anything. But it isn't as iconic as like I don't know, like the Superman theme or like fucking something that important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think they're pretty close. But I think an artist is more. I think an artist is more reliant on literally the music that they make than a movie. Like you could have a whole movie that's whole gimmick is that there is no score, and that would be a totally valid. That would be a totally valid movie. You know. In fact, that's what video games. That's what movies used to be. Literally, like they used to be like completely silent. So like. You could make a case, and like an artist without an album is just like imagine an artist comes out with an album that's every track is nothing, like there's no sound in it. You'd be like, it'd be terrible. It wouldn't be a valid fucking album at all.
I'm sure some fucking hipster's done it. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Silence of the Mind, and it's just like 13 tracks.
I like.
God, bonus track where it's just like white noise. Fuck yeah.
I'd fuck with it. I'd get it. I'd buy it.
Normal human with human skin wrote in. He says, How have you ever dealt with a bad date or with a bad session of lovemaking during and afterwards? How have you dealt with a bad date? I don't know if I had that many bad dates, to be honest. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I've had one notoriously bad date. I don't know if I've talked about it before. I went to Cheesecake Factory, and I had a chick walk out on me. Did I tell this story?
No. It didn't sound familiar. I was just like, you said Cheesecake Factory, and I was like, all right, that's gonna be like a rough one.
All right, so okay, I'll just break it down real quick. I met this girl through a band, a local band on MySpace, and like we came across each other in the comments, and then we kept up with each other, and when Netflix started like kind of booming in like 2010 or something, or 2011, whatever year it was. Twilight Zone was on it, and I'm like, yo, I can't wait to watch this. I invited her over to watch the Twilight Zone series with me, and it was after work, and I passed out, and so she showed up and just kept knocking on the door, and I never answered. So I felt like shit. I said, let me make it up to you. I'm taking Cheesecake Factory or whatever. At that time, I was kind of into politics, like infinitely more than I was like 4 years ago or whatever. And she was the type of liberal that was, that we would make videos about, like hyper. Like, it was, I wasn't even saying anything that I thought was unreasonable. I just talked about like, oh, rich and powerful people meeting up and doing a bunch of bullshit. Like why wouldn't you? Like, whatever that Bilderberg group thing is. I didn't even say like, oh, they're doing anything like they're not poisoning water. I'm just saying like they're a bunch of rich assholes that meet up and discuss things because that's why wouldn't they do that? Like fraternities meet up and do gay shit. Like I don't understand. Like why wouldn't they just meet up and be like, hey, we're all rich and shit? So she was like, that sounds crazy. And I'm like, okay. And then we got to talking about guns, and that's when it was the final straw. All I said was, people that are all armed, like a smaller city where everybody's armed is much safer than a city that's like a metropolitan kind of area where only the criminals have guns, pretty much. And she was just like, she was like really, really angry about that. And I was like, no, all I'm saying is, if I'm a thief or if I'm not going to do anything stupid in a place where I know everybody has guns.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to go to some small town in Texas and fuck around. I'll probably get shot in the face. But I have a much higher chance of going to New York, for example, and punching someone in the face and having no repercussions. Just a better chance of nothing happening to me. That's all I was saying. Not like, because I wasn't even like crazy about guns or anything. I was just saying, I don't even know what happened. That set her off and she fucking stormed out. And the server was like, yeah. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if, like, say, her fucking best friend or someone, like, blasted themselves in the face and she hates, whatever the case is. I don't know what made her so crazy. But the server was, like, even looking like, what the fuck? What was that? And I was just like, that's a
pretty bad one.
It was pretty awkward. And I promise you, the way I'm explaining it right now is how mundane it was. I wasn't even arguing. I was just talking like this, and she was like, her up to 10, 11 on the volume, and I was like, "Whoa, what's happening?" I was like, I don't.
That's a lot. Yeah, that would definitely qualify as like I wish because like most of the time, like I usually never went on a date with somebody that I didn't know before. Like that's kind of the thing. So it's like my chances for having an awkward date, I really only. Maybe like twice I've had a date that didn't go like perfectly, but like I wouldn't qualify it as awkward enough to be like worthy of a story, But that is that's wild. A Cheesecake Factory too. It's always the Cheesecake Factory. It's always like frustrating at a Cheesecake Factory because the menu's so fucking big, and not to be super stereotypical, but it's kind of difficult for a woman to just say what she wants to order sometimes, in my experience. And when the menu is that big, it makes it way fucking worse.
I still have problems right now.
I would
Literally
imagine
right now.
That's pretty good. That's pretty sly. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, dude, if you're in the middle of a fucking awkward date, just like make sure to just jot it down for your memory banks, because I kind of wish I remembered more of the shit that happened to me.
Yeah, I other than that, I can't really think of something off the top of my head of like, oh, what do I do in this situation or whatever. I've definitely had like weird, like, like say sexual encounters that were not, they were substandard. They weren't the greatest.
Yeah.
Because of the circumstances, and it's like, everybody
has that. That's pretty standard. It's just being alive and like meandering through the world and being like, jeez, okay, well, that didn't go.
Yeah,
that didn't go.
I think there's like two ways to handle that. Either you end the night early, or you try to just completely do something different after that. Like, let's get the furthest away from like sex as possible, and let's like fucking play video game or whatever type of chick you're with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
whatever type of person you're with. To just get away from that, and maybe the night can be recovered. But sometimes it's better just end it. Like, all right, this was weird. Let's go our separate ways amicably, and let's tell our friends how shitty this was.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, last little question here from a tiny Asian man, the drawer of Tali. Is that what that says? The drawer of Tall. Wait, what the fuck am I saying? Tiny Asian man, fix this. I'm not reading this. This is fucking confusing. Hello again, Mini Man, Every Hole's a Goal, and my dad. I have a question/scenario for the lot of you. First off, have you guys ever heard of the dolphin pussy jelly that makes you come super hard? Parentheses, I'm talking like hour-long cooming. Second, if you were to have some of this jelly in your possession, would you use it? Thanks for being some funny fuckers. Much love to you all. P.S. Sweeny, you are my father. He's not here. So, much like a true father, he is gone. Yeah, fucking, I've never heard of this. I thought maybe you might have heard of this.
No.
I'm looking this up right now. Maybe I should be very specific with how I Google this. Dolphin.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I just don't want to Google dolphin pussy. It's not an ideal thing to have in my, especially if like I have a heart attack right now and die, like the last thing I fucking looked up.
Yeah, that's what's I thought about that before.
Dolphin, how would I even find dolphin jelly sexual health? That's a fairly inconspicuous thing. What the there's no I'm not seeing anything about jelly, dude. You're fucking making shit up.
Probably. Maybe just put in dolphin jelly. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. This ain't real, bro. Like, you're just like, I'm not finding anything. Tell you what, next time you want to say something like this, link it in the comment, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But let's operate under the assumption that this is a thing that exists. That there is a dolphin jelly that makes you come for an hour. I'm not taking this. I'm not doing this. That's such a waste of time.
Yeah, why would you? That's complete overkill.
Yeah. It's also, it just kind of seems like skipping, I don't know, like, to spend that much time at the end, you know, seems like, I don't know, it seems like not fun to me. Like, I don't know why you would do this.
For that long, it definitely
seems painful.
You probably need. I feel like you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah,
like
you'd be so dehydrated.
The muscles down there, that like do all the workings, that fucking shoot all the sperm out. Like everything would be like, it would cramp up, and it would be. It's kind of like, you know, after. When you go like a couple of rounds, 2 or 3 rounds, it doesn't feel good after a while.
Yeah,
after a while, you're like, my parts hurt. Like, so I imagine just keeping fully erect coming for an hour. It would be, no, I would be like, I would tap out after probably like 10 minutes. Like, please kill me. I can't imagine.
Yeah, this sincerely sounds terrible. Like, it doesn't even sound like it's not even something that I thought for a second. Like, oh, maybe. Like, it's not even one of those. It seems like a pretty unanimously and obvious thing that it's just like, I don't want this at all.
Yeah.
Not even slightly.
That's never been a thought of like, I wish I could come longer. I never thought that. That's just like, it's good to just do it, and then you're like, oh, I feel great afterwards. I feel relaxed. It's not like I want to keep this euphoric. I want to be in this state for. I've never thought about that. That's
yeah,
wild. That's so wild.
Oh my god, it's usually a plague even having to do it. It's like, god damn it, it's one of these. It's this point in the day where like I can't think about anything. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's almost annoying to me. So
it sometimes is.
so like no, I certainly do this fucking, especially because it's dolphin jelly. What the fuck?
Yeah.
God. All right. Well,
that sounds like some fake Chinese, like, you know, like rhino horn fucking does, it's
the
it's
pills?
like, yeah, it's
The rhino.
bullshit,
I have.
dude.
I don't know if Zach took one of those rhino pills when we were out super late at night walking around LA.
Oh my
We stopped in
God.
this gas station to get like water or like snacks and shit. And we saw the rhino pills and we were kind of like cracking jokes at it. And Zach, Psychic Pebbles, for the listeners who might not be super familiar, he takes one and he's like, I'll get back to you. I'll let you know what happens. And I wish I could remember what happened, but I feel like it wasn't that interesting. It was like, I just got really sleepy and I went to bed. It was something like that.
Sleepy.
But like just the fact that he even took that thing, I was like, damn, that's brave as shit. Like I would never take one of those fucking things. The rhino pills at gas stations, God.
Yeah, it's not a great idea. My friend told me about he had a weird after image effect with his eyesight. Like if you would move, like you're fucking, it would like trail and shit.
That's so scary. That is horrifying. Oh my
Yeah,
God, dude, that is fucking not okay. But that's actually haunting. I think that's gonna be it for us today. We're all out of questions, which is great because we get to start fresh next month. Next episode will be. All right, well, Derek's gone. All right, well, that makes it actually super easy. So we're just going to finish this. Are you still recording?
Yo,
You're still recording, right?
yeah, it's still recording, but I don't. Why it did it again at the end of a segment? This is
Very
scary.
weird. Yeah, it's actually concerning.
Because I'm not touching anything.
Huh.
Like I'm not. Like I'm just here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not hanging up on you or anything. But,
It's
but anyway.
weird and I hate it, but I'm good. Maybe it's a time period. I don't know. I have to look at this. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. We're at the end anyway, so if you like what you heard today, consider supporting us over at patreon.com/the Snark Tank. $1 a month gets you early access to every episode and access to a bonus solo episode. There are 3 of them on the Snark Tank Patreon right now. There will be another one very soon with yours truly. $5 gets you a question read on the show. $10 gets you access to our Discord server. That's one payment and you're in for good. And $25 gets your name dyslexically read at the end of the show, which I will now do. Special note for Nikki Ziggy, who is paying, but for some reason isn't showing up. Very, very weird. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, let's go. I have seen the footage. Ryber 525 and the mystery of the sticky fursuit. Jack Hing off. Wow.
Nice. Very nice.
That's some Bart Simpson shit.
really
Racist
good.
snake. 10 hours of Spawn saying Malboja. Relaxing sounds for stress relief, meditation, deep sleep. I'm cuckoo for cock and balls. A Vex simulation gone sexual. Tell him Steve Dave. Lois Lane's pussy is laced with kryptonite. Otherwise, Superman would break her. It's an interesting
That's true.
theory. Fucking echo. Chris Reagan, more like cringe gay cum. Ooh. Otaku Bernal. Hey, Derek, I want you to draw me like one of your European girls. Tuberculized Arthur Morgan. I will. It's fucked up, bro. A pimp named...
Arthur Morgan?
That's not okay. A pimp named Slickback. Ethan is here. Fisto the Unyielding. Snatch Bandicooch.
His name's
Not
getting
gay.
pretty good. What's going on here?
Huh?
All different.
Yeah, they're actually not all Keith David.
and come.
Not gay Ben. I'm not gay. No, really, I'm not. I seriously swear I'm not. You have to believe me. The fireball that little Sweeny threw and killed God.
Nice.
White guilt paying his reparations but not guilty enough to shorten my name. Take my money. John Strickland. Boo Sniggins. Mercs 1889. The milkman that looks like Chris. Dank magician of chaos. Yes, Derek, it counts as bestiality if you want to fuck Tali Zora.
Sorry.
Jack McCann, the Irish man who got molested by Paul Joseph Watson's big meaty yowie hands. When in doubt, splooge it out. The First Church of Keith David. Tom Sweeney's views on the gays do not reflect the views of our church. Goops McKenzie. That's I love Goops McKenzie. That name is so good. Deal Do. Appa Yif Yif. Femboy Hooters Waiter. Sammy and his big titty fishy. The southern chick that thinks y'all motherfuckers need Jesus. Drunken Doulahan. My name is Eileen. You know what to do. Pre-Roz. Wait, what? Is that a joke?
I don't know.
Irene. Never mind. I'm thinking of a completely different name. Pre-Roz. Doug Walker is my sleep paralysis demon. A tiny Asian man, drawer of the tall, tan, busty, blonde, thick-thighed tomboys. Chris totally says the N-word off camera all the time. This is true. I can't stop saying it.
Confirmed.
Yeah, it's every single fucking moment with me. I can't stop it. Blake 896, the epic Oshawott, silly putty either. Can a Crip date an Asian named Sue Woo?
Nice. Sue Woo.
Keith David, fucking kill me. McAfee was murdered. Oh, we didn't talk about McAfee. We'll go next time.
Shit.
I'm sure Lyle will have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, right.
McAfee was murdered because he knew why Dr. Disrespector was removed from Twitch. Diego Andres Hernandez, hey boss, I have captured all three of the Snark Trinity. Now I don't have to crave the embrace of human. I have ascended. Ryan Lucchesi, post Bioshock Derek coming back with 20 little girls and no comprehensible explanation.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Wait, were you here for that conversation? Like, if you were placed in Bioshock?
No, I wasn't, but I still kind of understood the references of what.
Yeah. It's just like, how would you, like, I think the conversation was just like, how would you come back normally after like an experience like Bioshock? And I guess you would just come back with all these little girls. Just be like, I don't look, I swear, I know this looks real fucked, but like, I promise I just have powers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him. Sloshy Scout, Keith David. I think we should get more people on this Patreon tier. That's not enough of them, and their names can be longer. Cute femboy with sexy thigh highs. Tom Sweeny, the atrocious alien fucker. God help me, this is so long. Please check out my podcast called How Do We Get Here every Thursday. Leroy Jenkins. Hope you like Weezer. Chris, please change your skin color. My dog is black and follows Tariq Nasheed. Hard Hat Skydiver. Chris has a high voice for a lesbian. Fuck you, Chris. My name will be as long as I want. I pay $25 for this shit. The monkey masked tricycle rider that haunts Milk's dreams. I don't know what you're saying. Alaskan Oilfield Trash. Keith David, the arbiter of teabags. Juan Punchman. Marcus Shorten. Keith David. This is the last week that bomb pussy can donate for a while. Keep up the good work, guys. Well, no, thank you. Thank you for your donations. Papa Nurgle, a crab named Heller. Driving a car into Helen Parr's parachute pussy. Game Controller 25. Chris's living, breathing cock sleeve. Murder Ascended. Keith David, the dyslexic that feels Chris's pain. Send your Snark Tank fan mail to 600 Pennsylvania Avenue. and make sure to make it look as much like a bomb as possible. Holy fuck. Lobotomized Jesus is my... Yeah, don't do that. Lobotomized Jesus is and his 12 Downey disciples diddle dogs for Dogecoin. Sunny side up, abortion baby, Heiko. I'm Tom Sweeney and I am gay. Just another femboy on this godforsaken Patreon. 7-year-old fetus, Moto Zealot. Hey, you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Right, walked right into that Imperial ambush. Same as us. The first ever game to introduce Rumble feature, Worm Odyssey. Hiroshima Spicy Mushrooms. Is this hard to read? Because I'm running out of ideas, to be honest. Dummy Thick Dave, Heartless Wretch, the Ebony Goblin from the dump of New York City. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. That's a pretty nice cock. Tom Sweeney,
nice.
The Snark Tank Soggy Biscuit. I'm Dick Suck. I like a dick suck. I like my dick suck. I'll buy you a dick suck. Ian G. Jackson Absage. Badly Brave. Hugger Derek, the movie theater assistant manager. Katherian David, and the last couple here. Chris Gate, my Progerian hunting ass. Deflated left ass cheek. All hands on dick. Arrow, Sunny Chance. Tom Sweeney is one hard hot take away of needing his tweets protected. Send tweet. Victor 86 and rounding things off as always.
The King.
Oh, you do it with your echo.
The King of Haphazard.
There you go.
My nigga.
And that's going to be it, guys. I actually don't know when Sweeney's going to be back. I think he might be back by the time we do the next episode. Not super sure. He was supposed to leave on Saturday, and he left, like, today on Monday. So, like, I don't know what the fuck his plans are. He doesn't plan things well. So, we'll see how that goes. Either way, next episode will be Lyle. If Sweeney is, like, coming back, like, a day later than we normally will record, the episode might be delayed. We want to get all of us in, if we can. So keep that in mind. But I mean, obviously this is for Patreon, not for free feeds. It'll be up on time for them. But thank you all for your support and all that shit.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. We'll see you soon with our buddy Lyle. Take care.
Inwards in space.
There you go. That's perfect.
What am I ring? Fuck you, little bitch. Fuck you, little bitch.